Ys 8 was great. I'd recommend Ys 9. Ys 9's a good game. I've only played Ys 8, 9, and 10. I've liked all of them, to varying degrees. But I do like Ys 8, 9, and 10. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. I did talk to Mirabelle, right? She was with Dr. Flare? I just want to make sure, but I'm pretty sure I did talk to her. Yeah, here she is. Alright. Let's go talk to Dogi then and see what happens. Hey Adol, guessing the funeral's all over, huh? I've been helping with the reconstruction work, just a little parting gift before we leave. Strange, ain't it? We only spent a few days in this little town. And yet, at this point, practically feels like home. Haha, you too, huh? I'm pretty sure Adol has lots of homes by that logic, though. Granted, this is like the 30s game chronologically, so he will get a lot of homes. It really is great journeying around like this. That should just about do it for the goodbyes. All that's left is to head back to the docks when I'm ready. I mean, I'm ready right now. Excuse me, pardon me. Anyway, yeah, I'd recommend 8, 9, and 10. They're all really good games. I've enjoyed all of them.
That's that then. The torch is yours from here on out.
Sure thing. Consider it a promise.
I don't do good with promises.
You finish up already?
Hard to believe this could be our last trip on the Sandras, huh?
She's been with us through thick and thin. Rather a shame we have to part ways.
You said it. Having her see us off like this doesn't make it any easier either.
Well, no time like the present. Let's hoist the sails and put to sea.
Fare thee well, Karnak.
I'd very much like to return in the future, after they've fully rebuilt.
Hey, Adol. About where I'm dropping you off. Kaznan's inland from the Salsetan coast, so there's no harbor in the area. That means we'll have to shoot for the passenger liner's port of call.
Ahoy!
Was that?
Still wish I maxed out Ashley's affinity so I know why he has his hat off all of a sudden. Plus, the game made it obvious that there was something up with Ashley.
Those guys. Seems like every one of them's managed to find a new life goal to work toward. Not as amazing as a certain someone. I'm like them, you know? That talk with my mom back on the Ark gave me a goal of my own. To scour the seas for a place where we Normans can build a new home. To take my turn carrying on the dream she and so many others stood for. That's nobody's choice but mine, of course. Sure, it'll mean rough waters ahead of me, but seeing Rolo, the life that old-timer led, it spurred me on. Can't say how, but I'll try. Adol? Decades from now, when I'm an old woman and you're an old man, no matter how much time goes by, we'll still be shield brother and shield sister. If you're in a fix, I'll rush to the rescue sure as the sun. So, whenever it comes to mind, even if it's only once in a while, come pay me a visit, okay?
Alright, East 12, you heard me. Give me a stone to summon Karja. East 12, not 10. This is 10. Or 11. We're on 11. Hey, there it is. What a nice little ending. What a cute little ending. I like it. East 10, Nordics. I'm 2 hours in stream. I'm definitely not just ending stream. I think I could play Dragon Quest 3, but I think what I really want to do is finish Metaphor, because I got really close last stream. And I should only have like 2 to 3 hours of that game. Man, Bryce Papenbrook, I wish they paid you more money to have more lines in this game. Holy cow, it would have been nice. We'll worry about that later. Let's talk about Ease 10 for a bit. I like this game. I do like this game. I think Ease 10 is my second favorite Ease game. I like it more than Ease 9, not as much as Ease 8. That's where I rank it in my Ease power rankings. Ease 8's my favorite, Ease 10's my second favorite, 9 is my third favorite. I really like the characters of 9, but like as a game, I think 9 is my least favorite. And 9 is still a really good game. None of the Ease games I played are like bad or mid. They're all really good. The final boss was awesome, but I think the ending, Chapter 10 was a little anticlimactic. I think the Forbidden Lands didn't really have much going on, especially for the Sea Temple, which actually had a lot going on. The Sea Temple and then the stuff with Karja's mom, that was all some crazy stuff. But I think Chapter 10 like missed the landing. The Forbidden Lands felt so anticlimactic and empty. Metaphorically, not physically. Physically, they had enemies. They were not empty. But, like, metaphorically, the Forbidden Lands felt a little empty and underwhelming. It kind of just felt like before a final dungeon rather than the final dungeon. The Rolo and... what's-her-face? Leela fight was awesome. I still don't think the old man should have been Rolo. I just don't think that really... I don't know. I don't like it. It makes sense to fight Rolo at the end. I don't think the old man being Rolo is something I really agree with. I don't even think some build-up would have fixed it. I just straight up... It kind of feels like they got the Griegers out of the picture and they were like, oh, we have to do something now. We have no more characters that could be the villain. I kind of wish maybe they did something with, maybe Grimson. They could have done something with Grimson and then that could have led to the end of the game or something. But they resolved the Grimson stuff, so they had to do something. So yeah. I don't know. I didn't really like Rolo being the old man. Anyway, as a game, Ease 10 is really good. I give it like a 7, 8 out of 10. Oh, this music is great. I give it like a 7, 8 out of 10. It's a very good game. The combat's really fun. I think the combat grew on me as the game went on. Oh, this is nice art. I love when credits do this. The combat started off like cool, and then I think the combat just got better as it went. Like, I just started to enjoy the combat more as the game went on. I wouldn't say I enjoy it more than Ease 8 and 9. I don't think I have a favorite. I think I like all the Ease games' combat. I could be playing any of them. This one just feels different, and I appreciate that. I think the game did a really good job with innovating the combat. And even though Ease 10 only has 2 characters, I think they did well with that. I don't mind. I'm not one of the people who's like, oh, it's only 2 people? I hate the combat. No, remember that time when Rosa jumped into the water with Gren and Cruz? That was funny. Felt out of place, but it was supposed to be funny. Yeah. I think the combat's really fun. I wouldn't say I prefer it compared to 8 and 9, but I can respect this game for its combat. I really like the gameplay. The characters are good. I really like Cruz, Gren, Rosa, Mirabelle. They're not like my favorites, but they're pretty neat. They're likable. A lot of the characters in this game I don't really care about is another thing. And I think a big proponent to that is the story. I think the story in this game, it's really weird. I don't think the story is that good chapter 1 to 7. Because a whole lot of nothing happens. It's kind of just like, oh yeah, let's look for the survivors of Karnak. And, you know, Chapter 8 and 9 do get better. Chapter 8 and 9 was really, like, they were good. When the game got good with its story, it got good. I'm not gonna deny that. But, like, so much of the game, like, how long was this game? 40 hours? I clocked in close to 40 hours? I think I'm just barely 40 hours in, because 2 hours today, and I was at 37 hours prior. A good, like, half of the game, a little over half of the game, is a lot of nothing in the story department. Like, I'm not gonna deny it. Chapter 8 and 9 were really good. Chapter 10 was cool because of the final boss alone. I think the only thing that redeemed Chapter 10 was the final boss, straight up. Everything else about Chapter 10 was kind of underwhelming. But Chapters 8 and 9, even a bit of 7, they were good, but, like... That's like what? That's like 10 hours of gameplay in the story. So the story is not as good as Ys 8 and 9, unfortunately. I thought they did some cool stuff with the reveals, but like at the end of the day, I don't think the story... I think the story early and mid-game just suffers so much that like the end can't really redeem it. There's not enough of the game that can just like be like, oh yeah, this makes the story good. Because they could have done so much in the first 6 to 7 chapters with build-up, and they just didn't. It just feels like a whole lot of nothing. Island recaptures are fun. I think this game has the best raid system, which is the island recaptures. That being said, I don't like the way the side quests are structured in the way that the island recaptures are not marked. The island recaptures are not marked, and that's how you're supposed to get more side quests. I hate that. I really, really hate that. Because I feel like I missed a few island recaptures, and as a result, I missed some side quests. Because I didn't really, get Ashley's conclusion, for example. I didn't get everyone max affinity. Hey, Celceta, it's right next to Glia. That's cool. So I don't like the way the recaptures work. The ship combat's really fun. It got kind of repetitive and boring at the end. Oh, is that his Celceta outfit? I think I've seen screenshots. That might be his Celceta outfit. That's really nice if that is. I think I've seen Adol and Celceta. Oh, Karja. Oh, Karja is a good character. That's another thing. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Karja is like a really, really great character. I like Karja, don't get me wrong. I don't like love Karja. I don't think like, the thing is, Karja can't really carry this game. That's another thing I want to talk about, but I'm going to finish this thought about the ship battles first. Ship battles were good, but they got a little repetitive and boring by the end, but the ship combat was really fun. I really like the island recaptures, if anything. Best raid system. Ys 10. Side content was nice, but I wish it was better about... I wish the recaptures were marked, because the game, I guess, expects you to sail all the ocean, and you're really slow for like a good fourth of the game on your ship. So I guess the game just expects you to go to every single water, look for these recaptures, and then that opens up the markers. I don't really like that. I wish that was flipped, maybe. I wish the recaptures were easier to find. I'm not really a big fan of that. The music was fantastic. Let's get that out of the way. Really great music. Okay, I'm going to kind of address stuff in chat, and then I'll talk about what I really want to talk about, and what's the biggest miss with this game. How do you compare it to the true final boss in 8, not Theos, the Origin of Life? Better. I really like the Origin of Life. That was a cool boss, but Ys 10 has my favorite final boss in the franchise. The fight between Rolo and Leela was great, because it was a ton of fun. It was a really fun gameplay loop, and not only that, it just felt super thematic. While I didn't like the old man being Rolo, I think the idea of Adol and Karja up against Leela and Rolo was just a cool theme. It was just really awesome, and they got to use the same kind of mana abilities that Adol and Karja got to use throughout the game. It was just a really awesome final boss. Really cinematic, really cool, really fun fight, and it just fit the theme of the game, even if I didn't like who Rolo was. See, the thing is, I think the ending of the game, I don't like the who. I like everything else about Rolo and like the stuff about Griegers being in humans the entire time, and like it's kind of generic, but I think it's kind of neat and fits the game. It's just the who. I just do not like who ends up being Rolo. Everything else about the game I think is pretty good and serviceable. But you know. But again, I think too much of the game is nothing, and by the end of it, it's like not much gameplay that's actually really good story. Started the big story stuff earlier. Yeah, they could have done something like that. I think the game needed a better hook too. Because the only real hook in the game was, hey, Karja's a Norman, you guys are cuffed together. But then the game, nothing really happens. And the Grieger are fine as villains. I thought Logar was the best one for 2 reasons. His voice acting was really good. That's another thing. The voice acting was pretty good. I thought Logar was the best Grieger because his voice acting was really good. And it was just funny to see him, like, basically breaking the 4th wall and be like, oh, we need a spice to the narrative, etc. Or like, well, you guys need to come to the stage. This is where stuff is going to go down. Like, shit will go down. But, you know, it takes a while for that to actually happen. Yeah, the Grieger were fine, I guess, as villains. They didn't really need to be anything. I mean, I still really wish, I think ending with the old man just feels anticlimactic. Ending with Rolo is fine, but I just don't like the old man being Rolo. I think that was a mistake. I think they just realized that, like, oh, we have no one to be our final villain. Well, obviously Rolo, but we need to, like, wrap up some loose ends. But yeah, I think what you're saying, Raptor, kind of checks out. They could have started with they could have done better opening the game, and then the mid-game could be nothing. I feel like a lot of RPGs, mid-games, I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I guess Arc the Lad 2 comes to mind. Because Arc the Lad 2 hooks you with Elk's PTSD and his memories and, like, his tribe getting slain. It has a really good hook. And then some parts of Arc the Lad 2 aren't too deep with the story, but, like, you know, you're hooked already. And then the end game is really nice for Arc the Lad 2. It's got some nice stuff with humanity and hope. That's one example. I could probably come up with others, but I think Ys 10 just needed a better story hook. I think it just needed something to better hook you into the story, and then the mid-game could have been like it was. I think that's what I would have changed. I would have made Ys 10's opening, like, grip you more, and then the mid-game could have been like what chapters 1 to 6 were. And then the end game could have stayed the same, and I would have just changed who Rolo was. So I don't think the story's bad, but I think the story's kind of a miss. I don't think it's very good. And I think another thing that makes the story not as good is the characters aren't great, right? Like, Karja's really, really good, but no matter how good Karja is, Karja cannot carry this game. Like, I don't think Karja is capable of carrying this entire story, especially with the way it's done. I thought Lila was pretty good. Again, she came way too late, so they didn't really have time to build her up all that much in her relationship with Rolo. The crewmates don't really do much in the story, so, like, they were nice and likable, but, like, I didn't think they were great or anything. So, like, the characters definitely aren't as strong as Ys 9, and Ys 8 didn't even have amazing characters either. But I think Ys 8 has better characters than this game. I think I care about the Ys 8 characters a little bit more than this game's, but I think the story is mostly to blame. It just didn't really do much with them, and as great as Karja is, I don't, like, love Karja, but I do like Karja. Karja's not as great as, like, Donna from Ys 8, for example, but I do like her. But no matter how good she is, she can't carry this game. She cannot carry this story, no matter how good Karja is, I think. And the big thing I want to talk about is the relationship with Adol and Karja, and I think it kind of falls flat because they want to bring this whole theme of Adol and Karja being shield siblings. And I wouldn't have minded, like, again, Adol's the silent protagonist. That's just tradition at this point, I guess. But there were so many opportunities where they could have made Adol have a bit more lines in the game. And I'm not just biased to Bryce Papenbrook, I promise. But I just wish Adol had more moments of, like, oh, he talked. Like, when he talked that one time in the final boss in the beginning of the game. I wish Adol, like, had more lines in the game. Like, voiced lines. I wish they went the Metaphor route. This is something, when I finish Metaphor, I'm honestly thinking of booting at Metaphor after I talk about Ys 10. But when I talk about Metaphor, I'm going to talk about this. I like the way the Elda is done. The Elda is still very much a self-insert, but I like that they gave him lines. Because first of all, I think his voice delivery for some lines is really good. And it just makes you feel a bit more immersed into the game, I think. I think the Elda having voiced lines, but basically being a self-insert, I think that's the best route you could possibly go if you're going to do a silent protagonist self-insert character. And I think that's what they should have done with Adol. I think they could have afforded the budget to do that for Adol. Maybe. Like, I think they could have. I think it's a lame excuse if you tell me that, oh, they're on a budget. I think they absolutely could have went that mile. Especially when they're trying to sell the fact that Adol and Karja are shield siblings. That relationship just didn't really feel as compelling because you can't really do much when Adol is silent. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, my controller disconnected. Yeah, Loger was the best voice acting. The voice acting in general was good, though. All the voice actors were good, but Loger was definitely the best. Yeah. Anything else I want to talk about? I give this game like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Do I like this game more than Visions of Mana? Is what I'm thinking of. I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick between those two. On the one hand, Visions of Mana was, like, very, very fun to play with the gameplay. The story let me down in Visions of Mana, though. But this game's endgame story, like, really got me. Like, again, the story in this game got a lot better. But again, like, too much of the game was nothing. But Visions of Mana was, like, the opposite. It compelled me for, like, the first 10 hours, but then the story lost me. And the gameplay was fun in both games. I don't know. Pretty tough pick. But yeah, 7 or 8 out of 10. I'm going on backlogged right now. What would I rate this game? 4 stars? I'll give it 4 stars. Where did Visions come from? I'm comparing it to games I played this year. I'm thinking of what to rate it, and I'm thinking of what I rated Visions of Mana. So I'm comparing it and being like, oh, how do I feel about Ys 10? That's where Visions of Mana came from. Because this year is still one of the best years in gaming in quite a while, so I'm just trying to compare it to Visions. I definitely don't like this game like as much as Metaphor and Rebirth. And is there anything else I played this year that I really, really liked? Astrobot. I don't like this game more than those 3. So I'm thinking, oh, what other games did I play this year? And I played Visions of Mana, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So, I don't know, this game and Visions of Mana are pretty much like, I like them basically about the same. Which is really good, I really love them. They're both good games. They're both really fun. I think the gameplay carries them a lot. And everything else in Ys 10 isn't like bad per se, but I think the other Ys games do it better. Like Ys 9 does the characters better. Ys 8 does the story better. The music is about on par with Ys 8 and 9. The graphics look nice, I guess, but like who cares about graphics? But this is easily the prettiest Ys game. It's like, it's no contest. This game looks the best of all the Ys games, but that's because it's like a new engine, so what are you gonna do? I'm trying to think. I feel like Ys 10, the best way to put it, it does everything pretty good and fine. It doesn't really fail at anything, but it doesn't really exceed at anything, other than the gameplay and being innovative. Oh, the leveling system also became really, like, lukewarm and, like, boring. It felt really cool in the beginning, but then by the end of the game, I just didn't really care about the leveling system all that much. It was a cool idea to try, but, like, I just kind of I put seeds into whatever. But yeah, Ys 10, I guess the best way to describe it, it doesn't really excel at much, but it also doesn't really fail at anything. It kind of feels, in a way, it feels like middle of the road in a lot of areas, except like the music and the gameplay. The gameplay might not be for everyone because there's a strong emphasis on blocking, and I know some people might not be into that, but it grew on me as the game went on. But like, 9 has better characters, 8 has better stories, so like, you know. Even then, though, I think this is my second favorite Ys game. I think I like this game more than Ys 9. Ah, it's neat. I do like when title screens change. Oh, they added time attack. How nice. Chat, is there any post-game in this game? Does anyone know? I think I'm done with this playthrough. I'm not doing anymore, but I'm just curious. Is there post-game for Ys 10? Ys 9 had a super boss. Ys 8 had a dungeon. I'll definitely try to platinum this game. But yeah, I think Ys 10 is a very good game. It's my second favorite Ys game. I like it more than 9, because while I really like the characters of 9, the best thing about Ys 9 is the characters. But everything else about Ys 9 is like good, but like, as a game, I think I like Ys 10 more. So Ys 10 Nordics, my second favorite Ys game. I really enjoy it. It's got nothing on Ys 8 though. Ys 8 is still my favorite. But Ys 10 was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time. And 7 or 8 out of 10, I might just give it an 8. I might give it an 8 because the story got better as the game went on, even if the Rolo twist could have been better. And the characters weren't the best, but it really did pick up, so I'll give this game an 8 out of 10. It is a very good game. I would recommend it if you like action RPGs, if you're looking for some fun RPGs to play. Ys 10 is worth it. It's a very good game. It stands pretty close to Ys 8 and 9. I like it more than 9, not as much as 8, which is a really good track record. But yeah. You could fight the super boss pre-credits. Oh, there's a super boss pre-credits. Okay, so the game works like you do everything before the final boss, and then you just finish the game. Also, how long did this playthrough take me? This playthrough took me like, 40 hours, right? Oh, I'm just under 40 hours. I'm like 39, basically. Yeah, this game is the shortest. I don't think it's, like, short, also. That's another thing. People might be like, oh, do you feel like the game is too short? By the way, I also love the shit moving really slowly in the back. That's really cool. That's awesome. So, like, people are like, oh, do you think the game is too short? I don't think the game is too short. The game is the shortest Ys game. But, like, I think 40 hours is still a lot of time. I think if I didn't do the side quests, this game would be like, it'd be like 25 hours. I think side quests added like another 15 hours, give or take. Like, I don't think the game is too short. It's shorter than 9, because 9 took me like, what? It was like 130 parts or something, so it took me like close to 45 hours. Ys 8 took me closer to like 60. So like, I don't think the game is too short either. I think the game is a perfect length. See, here's the thing. I think the best length for your RPG, I think if you meet a 25-hour quota, I think that's fine. Not all games need to be like 60 to 100-hour experiences. As long as you got good quality in your games and your game is a ton of fun, 25 hours is perfect. Look at Live Alive. Live Alive is like barely 25 hours, and that game is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. My favorite game, Grandia 2, is barely 30 hours, and that game has a lot of good quality in it. So like, you can make a pretty short game, and it's fine, but like, this game, 40 hours is good. I didn't do everything. Well, I would have added like another 2 hours trying to finish up island recaptures. Who knows how many I missed. But yeah, you know, this game is good. I think I'm done with it though. I don't think I'm doing the super boss. I think I'm just done with the playthrough here. This feels like a good part to stop. Plus, I'm really busy. Because I'm gonna finish up Metaphor. Like, I'm honestly gonna finish up Metaphor in today's stream because that would work really well for my schedule. And I really have to get back to Dragon Quest 3. I want to do one more Dragon Quest 3 stream at least before Fantasia Neo Dimension comes out, which is this Thursday, so. But yeah, Ys 10, very good game. I really enjoyed it. It had its shortcomings, it had its, like, minor issues and nitpicks. But overall, it was a very fun game. I'm glad I played it. It was very fun. Good 40 hours spent, I'd say. And I'm definitely going to try to platinum it somewhere down the line. But yeah, I'm going to end this video. Not ending stream, but I'm ending the video. So, Ys 10 was a great game. I'll play other Ys games. I'm going to play Memories of Celceta. I have that purchased. I don't know when I'm going to play it, but Memories of Celceta is most likely going to be the next Ys game I do, because I don't know. I think I'll play Celceta before they announce the next mainline Ys game. I don't know if I'm going to play all the Ys games. I am going to play Celceta though, and from there we'll see if I want to go back to any others, but for now, Celceta's in the docket. But, you know, that'll happen sometime in the future. And maybe during Celceta, we'll see what other games people recommend in terms of Ys, and maybe I'll go back to others. Like, I know Origins exists. I know people said 7 is pretty good. We'll see which ones I want to try. Maybe the Oath and Felghana remaster, but Celceta is next, because that's the one I purchased. But yeah, good playthrough, great time. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you all next time.